Hello and welcome to this workshop, Selfful, Not Selfish, Eradicating the Stigma of Self-Love. I'm Emmy Rouso, founder and CEO of Trinity Transformations, and I will be your facilitator on our workshop today. To tell you a little bit about myself and my mission, I am a warrior of love, and I help change makers go from feeling flat and fed up of feeling flat, quite frankly, to full, on fire, and in flow so that they can create the change in the world they were born to make. And you, my friends, are change makers, whether you realize it or not, because you are taking the time out of your busy schedule to improve yourself, to learn something new. And that's where the change starts. The change always starts within. So I celebrate you change makers and invite you into my forest here. I'm also a mom of 3 beautiful children who are 16, almost 20, and 23. And I was a teacher for 22 years of elementary school. I am a transformational speaker and a fitness instructor. And I firmly believe that love is power. And so as we go through today, we're going to see about some of the ways, some of the reasons, some of the ways that that is true, and how you can improve things for yourself so that you are eradicating that stigma of self-love being selfish. So first thing I want you to do is just stop and think. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being never and 10 being always, how often do you put yourself first? And that's your baseline. I encourage you to even write it down with today's date, and this is your baseline. And then you can measure against it in a month or so and see if my number changed at all compared to my baseline. So that's something you can do to start. And absolutely, if you do not have a notebook or notes that you're taking on your computer, run and grab that right now. Pause the video, because you are going to want to take some notes. And I'm going to be giving you a lot of tools. I believe that we can amass toolboxes so that when we need something, we can pull out a tool that's best for that particular event, situation, or moment. And not that there's just one way that one size fits all. I don't believe in that at all. So I'm going to be giving you a number of tools today. Some will resonate with you, some won't. And some might be for now and some for later. So I encourage you to take notes with anything that seems interesting at all, and then let everything else go. And when you're thinking about implementing later, because we know that learning only happens when we take the knowledge and put it into action. Knowledge is just potential. And then when we put it into action, that's when the learning happens. So just take 1 or 2 things. Maybe if you're like a super go-getter, or so much of this stuff is like, yeah, I already got this. Maybe you're going to take 3. Please do not take more than 3 things from this session and think you're going to implement them. And because you're able to see so many sessions, I really encourage you, 1 or 2, that really don't try to implement everything all at once. So having said that, I sense you are the perfect people to say that to, because if you are here watching this, it's probably because you do think, or you have heard so much and you're trying to get rid of that notion, that paradigm that self-love and putting yourself first is selfish. And I'm here to flip that paradigm on its head. Why do we feel that way? Well, because we are socialized to be of service. Being of service to others is the greatest gift. It is our purpose on earth. We are here to help others. And all of that is true. And in order to do it, we need, I know this is radical for some of you, you're like, nails on the chalkboard, I get it. But we need to put ourselves first. Serving others first before ourselves can lead to exhaustion, resentment, or burnout. And take a moment to ponder if you're in any of those spaces, or if you can relate that, yep, I used to be there, or I feel like I'm headed there. So if this is you, you are absolutely not alone. So those old metaphors of self-love, the cup, the full cup, we've got to fill our cup first and put your own oxygen mask on first. Well, we know that, right? But we come up with like, God, I don't have time to fill my own cup first. Or, well, I could just, let's say I was in an airplane and the oxygen mask fell. I could help my child first. Okay, maybe you could. But then your elderly parent is sitting beside them. So wouldn't you want to help them? Yes. So you go and do that. And we don't have an oxygen meter here. We don't know when we're depleted. So we don't know when we've reached the bottom and our oxygen runs out, and then we are of no help to anyone. And it's like that in life. So I want to give you a new metaphor of self-love. Picture, and close your eyes if it helps you to visualize it. Picture a champagne tree. There's maybe 5 glasses on the bottom, 3 glasses on the next row, 1 glass on the top. I mean, chances are it has many more layers than that. Probably has the 7 and the 9 and the et cetera, et cetera. So it has all these layers. You are the champagne glass at the top. You're the servant leader. You're the change maker. You're the mom. You're the manager at work. You're the entrepreneur, the solopreneur who's got to get it all done. And so you're, in a way, at the top. And if you take self-love as the champagne bottle and pour it in to yourself, what many of us do is we realize, okay, we're depleted, we need to fill up. And we fill it up to about half full. We go, okay, now I'm going to serve others again. It's okay. Take your champagne glass self and pour it into those 3 cups. What are you getting? At max, if you divide them evenly, that next layer is a 1/6 full. You've just helped people be 1/6 full. Is that what you wanted to do? And then just leave them hanging because you have nothing more to give? No. Or they have to wait until you replenish so you can give them more again? No. We want to be able to serve people continuously from our overflow. And of course, those other layers below, they got nothing. So they're all empty. Instead, if we pour from this champagne bottle and just keep pouring into ourselves, it's not selfish, because what happens to that champagne glass when it's reached its capacity? It overflows. It is the same with self-love. When you have filled yourself up as much as you need, you will radiate it out. It will be overflowing. You will not be able to stop it. Now, I know some of you are like, oh, but a narcissist, that's a separate thing. We're going to talk to you about that. We will overflow with love and radiate it. We couldn't keep it all in if we tried to. So that way we're overflowing, and they can overflow, and down to the next, and down to the next. And we serve everyone by showing that if we fill ourselves first, that's how we serve best. And I want you to think about it from the bottom up now. So if you're at the top and you're supporting all these people, also those people are holding you up. So don't you need them to be strong too? So it's not just a one-way street, it's an ecosystem. And as we fill ourselves, we fill others. And as they are full, they can support us better. And then we can fill and overflow and keep overflowing and serving. So doesn't that feel like a much better metaphor for self-love? And if you only get one thing out of this workshop, what I want you to get out of it is to, more importantly than anything else, tune into yourself. Start to learn what it feels like when you ask yourself this question. What do I need right now? What do I need right now in this present moment? And while you're getting used to the language that your body speaks, because it's not always words, it's often not words, it comes through feelings, which then lead to thoughts. as we tune into the language of our body, we need to practice, right? Like anything else, if we're not used to it, we need to practice. So practice and practice and practice. Set it in your schedule that 3 times a day maybe. You're going to tune into yourself first thing in the morning. What do I need? Maybe perhaps before lunch or right after lunch. What do I need? And in the evening or in the afternoon, maybe when you're feeling depleted at 2 o'clock, that's when I used to get depleted. Oh, what do I need right now? Listen to that answer. You'll start to hear it better and better and better. And I say hear because I am clairaudient, so that's how answers come to me. But you'll start to sense it. You'll start to know it better and better and understand the answers that are coming to you and act on it immediately if you can. And if you can't act on it immediately because maybe you're at work, maybe because your child is needing you right now, maybe because you're driving, so you cannot stop and just go for a walk in the forest, then say, okay, thank you for telling me, body. I hear you, and I am going to fit that in. As soon as I stop driving, I'm going to look at my schedule and see, when can I go for that walk in the forest? Or whatever it is. As soon as my baby stops crying, I will check that out. So that is the most important thing. Definitely do that. And if you don't know, how do I tune into my intuition? Reach out for help. In fact, with anything you're learning in this presentation or any other, if it is foreign to you or it's something that you struggle with, know that we are human. We all struggle with things. So it's okay. It's actually a sign of strength to reach out for help because we don't know everything consciously. So it's okay to ask for help, and we're stuck in our jar and we can't always see the big picture. Reach out and ask for help. That is a sign of strength. When we can say, I know this is not something I'm good at yet and I really need some help. That's what strong people do. It's when we feel too proud, too ashamed, or too alone to ask that we lack the courage to ask. It does take courage. Somebody might say, no, I'm not helping you, or what's wrong with you? But that's okay if that happens. You just asked a person that couldn't help you right then. There's someone else. There's always someone else who will help you. So keep asking until you get the help you need. So now, I'm going to shift gears and take you into some things that really help me and my clients when they tune in and ask, what do I need? And this is science-based, science-backed strategies and tools. And I am not the science guru. I leave that to other people to get the science, and I read it and I'm like, okay, awesome. But they are all science-backed tools. So here we go. Again, take what resonates, write it down, leave what doesn't, and then out of that list of what resonates, you're going to pick just 1 or 2 things. Start with a morning routine. A morning routine sets you up for success. There is a saying that how you start the day is how your day will be. I have a plaque at home that says, 1 small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. So starting with a morning routine is so foundational. And that could look like many different things, but here are 6 suggestions that I have for you. It could be meditating. And wouldn't it be beautiful to be able to get out into nature and meditate? I do that. I have a hammock in I call it my jungle backyard, and I do it there. So wouldn't that be lovely? Meditate. Pray. Ritual. Spend some time journaling, especially gratitude journaling. As we spend more time in gratitude, and especially for writing it down at the beginning, anything that we're doing at the beginning and creating a habit, there is scientific evidence that writing it down by hand instead of typing it into our phone helps to activate our RAS, our reticular activating system, which makes it stick better. And that's the filter that goes through our brain because we have so much input. So that filters things out, and it'll all of a sudden start looking for, oh, you're grateful for these 3 things in the morning? Well, I'm going to start looking for other things to be grateful for through the day. So start a gratitude journal. And I use the 5-minute journal, which is an app on my phone, or you can get a hardcover journal. And although I just said there is absolutely strength and evidence to back up why you should write it down at the beginning. I know that for me, I tended to forget my journal or feel like it was a task, like I had to write it down. Whereas on my app, it can send me reminders at certain times, which is great for me in building habits. And I have my phone with me everywhere, so I never forget it. If I go to travel and visit someone or anything, it's always with me. So I use that. The 5-Minute Journal app is a fantastic app or journal. It's just exactly the same format. And you can search it up, and that's a recommendation for you. I also have a friend, Kristen Larson, who wrote The Joy of Being, another incredible journal that is about so much more than just gratitude. So lots of options for you. I'm happy to share more if you reach out. And anything that really like, oh, I want to know more about that, reach out to me. I'm at Transform with Emmy on basically all social media. You can always reach out to me. Getting your body moving. Robin Sharma says, start with 20 minutes of heart rate raising cardio. And Mel Robbins teaches us that the science behind that is that 20 minutes of heart rate raising cardio can increase your focus for up to 2 hours. So if you're not a morning person, imagine how an increased focus for 2 hours could help you by just doing 20 minutes of cardio. And if you're a morning person and you need that boost in the afternoon, you could do that 20 minutes at, that 2 o'clock slump. You could do them at both times. Actually, that's what Robin Sharma recommends, is a 20-minute workout in the morning and a 20-minute workout after work. So exercising, and we're going to talk a little bit more about exercising later, because this Love is Power shirt is from IntenSati, a spiritual fitness program, which I absolutely adore and got introduced to about a year ago, and I'm so blessed to have become a leader of. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a little bit. Listening to positive, uplifting podcasts, audiobooks, and or reading positive books. So this is not your time for Stephen King. There's another time for Stephen King. Also, right before you go to bed is not your time for Stephen King. This is your time, and this is not your time for, necessarily like the Wall Street Journal either. This is time for just you before you get into the professional. Feed yourself. So that could be a morning routine. Another amazing tool is to do what brings you joy every single day. And maybe you've lost track of what brings you joy. And if you have, as many adults have, because we are not taught to value joy time, to make it an integral part of our day, write a list of things that you used to love doing as a child. For me, it's dancing. I wanted, and I'm dating myself here, but I wanted as a kid to be a solid gold dancer, and I wanted to be on Fame. So if you recognize those TV shows, you know my era. Oh, then in Living Color, if you are religious, or after that. So I just wanted to dance. That's what brought me joy. And still to this day, if I'm feeling like crap and nothing else has worked, the tool that always works for me is to throw on some tunes I love and just start jamming, moving like nobody's watching. Because usually nobody is watching. And even if they are, who cares? So find what brings you joy. Make a list of it. Maybe you put it on your fridge or on your mirror. And then when you are feeling like you're down, you can go to that list. And I encourage you to put it in your schedule. Literally, joy time. And schedule it every day until it becomes a habit. Staying connected is another incredible tool that we've really recognized we need. Belonging is a basic human need. And we can only belong if we feel connected. So, unfortunately, over the past while, we weren't connecting as much in person. It was harder to connect, but often in a blessing kind of way. It opened us up to global opportunities like this, where here I am from Canada on a summit from the States because of digital. So there were blessings in the lack of connection, in learning to connect in different ways, is what I want to say. But staying connected is super important. Whether you're calling a loved one, whether you're FaceTiming someone, whether you are going for a walk with friends or family, going out dancing, whatever it is, going out for a good meal. Stay connected. When we feel most like withdrawing is often when we most need to connect. Now, having said that, there is absolutely a time for solitude and unplugging and being alone. But staying connected is really important. And we will also talk about why going for a walk in nature is super beneficial. One of my absolute favorite things to do to center and ground myself is to go for a walk in this forest along the Etobicoke Creek. That's the body of water you're seeing near Toronto, Canada. The sounds of the animals, the sights of the animals, and the magic of the plants. Plants really do have medicine for us. The leaves of the trees emit chemicals. I don't know a lot about the science, but I do know that nature has what we need, and many of us in society, we've lost that. So I love that in the 1980s in Japan, Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing, was created to help relieve stress for the most stressed out society, at that time anyway, statistically in Japan. I love that they've done that, and the amazing effects it can have on not just stress, but literally physical diseases and everything. There are studies done. Feel free to Google forest bathing or Shinrin-yoku, Shinrin. That's the first word. Yoku, that's the second word. And that is what it started as a movement in Japan to help the health of Japanese people. Mental and physical health, although I believe it was started primarily for mental health, and then they surprisingly found it helped physical health. And so right now I'm bringing you to what I claim is my spot. I have a few spots, but I highly recommend everyone find a spot in nature, and not in the sense of I own this, but in the sense of here's where I feel most at home. So this is what I lovingly call my tree. And speaking of grounded and rooted, one of the reasons I chose this tree is that you can see these huge roots are coming out from the tree, from the earth. They've been eroded. The earth has been eroded at the bank of the river, or the creek, and yet it still goes back in, and it's still strong as anything. And so I will literally just lay against this tree and look this way and just be for minutes and minutes and minutes until I feel like everything I was stressed out about, the tree has taken away the worries. Now, I know some of you are like, isn't tree hugging just for hippies? That's what I used to think, full disclosure. But now I do call myself a modern hippie to first stop off with pride. And I'm a little ashamed that I ever had that negative thought about it, or stigmatic thought about it. But now I know the power of trees is just incredible. And so I want to share with you about 30 seconds of what I get to enjoy in my forest bathing, the sights and sounds without hearing me. And I will lean on my tree and show you exactly what I get to see and hear. Enjoy. That was just about 30 seconds, but I wonder, are you already starting to feel the calming effects? Imagine what's in for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 or 60 minutes could do for you out in nature. This is another spot I come to sometimes. Just again, lean on the railing and look down. I love the rocks, seem so majestic despite the graffiti on them, the lush greenery, and of course, the rushing water. I find water so calming, and also one of the things I love about watching it move around and over the rocks, it reminds me that when I'm in a rocky spot in life, I can be like water and flow, find a way around, over, or under it, and that all will continue to flow. And here we are coming up to my very favorite bridge, my favorite water spot, because as you can hear, it's louder here than it is anywhere else because we have this viaduct here that it comes down through super, super fast. And of course, also the beauty of the nature here as well. And this whole Etobicoke Creek is just so gorgeous. And so what I do is I just put my arms on this ledge and sit here, stand here, and also watch and feel and listen for whatever messages Mother Earth has to share with me. As the bicyclists go by, as people walk by, I love every single bit of the sound and the sights that are here. So now that we're back from our forest bathing, I want to talk to you about a nighttime routine. And again, a nighttime routine can look a million different ways. There is no one right way. We're going to tune into ourselves and say, what do I need? What would feel great to me? As you hear this list, what excites you most? The one, again, top recommendation I have for you is turn off your phone or turn it to silent. Now I know that some of you are like, but I'm a caregiver, I have to have the phone. And I was in that position myself, so I get that. But if at all possible, if there is not an emergency waiting to happen, or maybe you're an on-call worker and you can't turn your phone off, but if you can, turn it off or to silent, and this you can do, put it outside your room. Because then if you do wake up middle of the night, you're not so likely to you can't just grab your phone and start scrolling through social media. The effort to get up and get it is a much more intentional thing. So you're less likely to do that if you are going through and keeping it outside your room. Plus, if your alarm is your phone like mine, when you wake up, you got to actually physically get up, get out of bed, get out of your room. And by the time you've gotten out of your room, you're probably more awake and less likely to just hit the snooze button and go back to bed. So beneficial for multiple reasons. Now, you can take a warm shower or bath. Warm water is super calming, as you heard about in the forest bathing, but also over our body, cleansing our body, both physically and emotionally from the crap of the day. I remember I had a friend who said she'd just get in the shower and just cry it all out. That was her release, and that's fantastic. You can also read. You can do more gratitude, highlights of the day. And if you're a person who has trouble getting to sleep because you have the racing mind, I am like the queen of monkey mind, which is why meditation used to be really challenging for me. And now I wouldn't go a day without meditation. It's so phenomenally important to me. I would recommend a good book on that, actually, if meditation is hard for you, or if you are a high performer and want to get more performance. The book is by Emily Fletcher, and it's called Stress Less. Oh, what is it called? Stress Less, Get More Done. You can read at night. You can do a sleep meditation. But if you have that racing mind, what I was going to say is that do a brain dump. Write down all the things you didn't get to do today that your mind is thinking about, because our brain is like a filing cabinet. Once it knows that it's filed away in a safe spot, it's okay. It can stop thinking about it. So if it knows that it's on this piece of paper and tomorrow I can pick it up and be safe, it's less worried about it. So that's some of the ideas that you can do at night. Now you may be thinking, how do I fit all this in? Well, what you do is you make a schedule. And when you're making your schedule, you want to consider, all your family members, your must-do appointments like doctors, specialists, that kind of thing. Of course, any work commitments, but all the things we talked about too. You time, joy time, morning routine, evening routine, and it doesn't have to be a big, long thing. Hal Elrod has a morning system called the Morning Miracle. And in that, there's an acronym, SAVERS. Each letter stands for something. And you can Google 6-minute savers. Now, who could not wake up 6 minutes early or find 6 minutes in their morning routine to start the day off? You can start small and then build on it. And again, you're not starting with all these things. You're starting with the one that you think, I think that'll make the biggest difference, or that sounds super interesting, and do that. And don't do the one that you think will make the biggest difference if it's one that you don't like. Nah, doesn't matter. Start with the one you like. That will get you way better results. Now, we've been sitting for a while here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a movement break. I was telling you about movement, and we are going to do some IntenSati together. So I'm just going to set up my music here, and gives you the time that if you need to put some shoes on, of course you can pause if you need to, find some space, and make sure that you have some water and a towel by you. You go ahead and get that done right now, and I will start our music. All right. We're gonna do just one block of this amazing IntenSati. If you've never done it before, one of the cool things is that you can do it standing, like I'm gonna show you, or you can do it sitting. That's called chair sati, and it's a real thing. I didn't make it up. We're gonna combine affirmations with cardio. And this is just one piece of IntenSati. There's actually a lot more to it, but this is great for a movement break. This comes from the series, I Accept Myself. So we're gonna do one block together. Here we go. We're gonna imagine we're just gonna march on the spot for a second to warm up. In an actual class, we would do a warm up, but we're gonna go. Everything is to the count of 8. So starting with the move called abundance, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, here we go. We open up, down, to the abundance all around us. We can bend down, we can lift up, we can also jump, abundance. We open to the abundance. And then you're gonna repeat the affirmations after me. I am open to this moment. 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 Just think it. Abundant. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Sow the seeds from our heart. Sow those seeds of our heart's desire. Really throwing them down. Leaning side to side. But we're going to do it double time. Speed it up. Here we go. This is sowing the seeds. I am willing to be here. I am willing to be here. I am willing to be here. Joy is our smile. We can push with our feet to push off and looking where our arms are leading us, or we can jump, lift that leg, the opposite leg and opposite arm. And we say, and everything I see, and everything I see, and everything I see, and everything I see, just think it. Show me the joy. I can feel your energy, you know, even when you're watching it later. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, emotion. Joy. Emotion. Joy. Emotion. Joy. And we say, with all that I feel and everything I see, with all that I feel and everything I see, with all that I feel and everything I see, just think it, emotion, think the affirmation, joy, emotion, feel the feels, joy, see what's there, emotion, joy, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, back to abundance from the beginning, just the moves, sow the seeds, get it back into our body, emotion, joy, abundance, sow the seeds, emotion, joy, and we say, I am open to this moment. I am willing to be here with all that I feel and everything I see. I am open to this moment. I am willing to be here with all that I feel and everything I see. Just think it, abundance. Forget the affirmation, just keep moving. Sow the seeds. Emotion, all that you feel. Enjoy all that you see. Amazing. Give yourselves a round of applause. Keep moving. So you don't want to slow down too suddenly. So I'm going to turn off our music. Keep moving. Put your hand on your heart and just notice. How does my body feel right now? How does my spirit feel right now? Am I feeling any different than I was before I started this? Let's plant our feet. Take one big deep breath in and bring it down in prayer. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. So now we have more focus to think about what we're doing as we've just, talked about making a schedule. But remember, what was the most important thing? I said, if you do nothing else, tune in. What do I need? And that's why I love leaving empty spaces on my schedule, because then when I need something that's not on the schedule, I can say, oh, I could fit that in at 4 o'clock. Or, I could move this thing later in the day so that I could do this right now for myself. Or maybe I can move it up to tomorrow and do what I need right now. Nobody is perfect. We will all stumble. We need to give ourselves compassion and forgive ourselves as we have these new practices, this shift in a paradigm from I gotta serve everybody else first. It's too selfish to serve me first. To, I know, I want to overflow and be able to serve others from my overflow. I am pleased to offer you if you liked that IntenSati class, a free full class, which will incorporate intention setting at the beginning, the cardio segment, and then a visualization or meditation and room for reflection at the end. I'd love to have you in my class. They're all virtual, so it doesn't matter where you're joining me from. And I generally do most of my classes in the morning because I believe in that exercise in the morning and get your mindset positive in the morning, and this does both of those. However, I do offer one weeknight class as well. So again, depending on where you are, what time zone, you should be able to find something that works for you. I really want to thank everyone from the Forest 17 Summit for having me here today. And I encourage you that if you have any questions, send me a message at Transform with Emmy on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on TikTok, although you can't send me a message on TikTok, but I'm there. So the easiest way is probably through Instagram, but I am available in all those other ways. Now I'm going to say something super cliche, and don't let me lose you on it. Remember that you are not alone. We are all in this together. And I know it sounds so cliche, but cliches are there for a reason, because they have meaning that was meaningful for years and years and years and years and generations, or they wouldn't be cliches. When I say I'm here for you, it is what I mean. And I'm happy if you'd like to reach out. I thank you for joining this session today. I'd love to reach out and let me know what your takeaway was. That would be brilliant. I would love it. Thank you for joining me in my beautiful forest today. And by my, I just mean the one I'm blessed that God placed me so close to. I am blessed that I get to walk to this beautiful oasis any day. And that's often the answer I get when I ask myself, what do you need, is a walk. So have an amazing, soul-filled, joy-filled, love-filled day and life. I love you all.